Hey, what's up, Facebook? Um, wow, where can I start? Hey, listen, first of all, just let me say thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Thank you. My wife is currently working from home, so she's at work. I'm actually off today. And I just wanted to come on here to say thank you to everyone that wished us a happy anniversary. We had an amazing time. We had a good time. We enjoyed ourselves during this anniversary. And thank you for all the shout outs to everybody that shouted out to us. Happy anniversary to all of those that sent encouraging words. Um, I'm just overwhelmed by the just the sheer love and appreciation that you guys have shown us, and we do appreciate it. But with that being said, as you see, it says thank you. Now let's learn how to fight. We're gonna talk about. Hey, Stephanie, how are you? Thank you for your wonderful words of encouragement. What's up, Big D? Thank you for your wonderful words of encouragement, man. I'm telling you, when you encourage people to continue to go on, continue to fight for their relationship, continue to fight for their unity. When we hear those things, it's encouraging. It really is. And I just wanted to come on here and personally say thank you. And my wife will come on later and say thank you as far as, interacting with us. Again, she's working from home, so she's actually at work. So if she gets called out here, she should probably be, I don't know. But anyway, I just wanted to personally say on our behalf, on behalf of Danny and Amelia Cole, we are so grateful. I'm good, brother. How are you? Hey, Stephanie, I'm good. We are so grateful that people like you are still in the world that are pulling for couples to make it, pulling for couples to succeed. Um, and it's an encouragement. It gives us peace. It gives us hope to continue on. As you can see, I'm chilling back here in the backyard. I'm gonna give you guys a few minutes to get on because we're gonna talk about how to fight. Now, with that being said, I am in the backyard, and there is a yellow jacket flying around here somewhere. So if for any reason you see me vacate this live, it's because we have a guest that I don't particularly want to interact with at this moment. So y'all pray that he don't show up, and I'll try to stay out here as long as I can. And on the other half of that is it's warm out here too. And as you can see, I have on a slight jacket, but it's not a heavy jacket, but it's a slight jacket. It's not jacket weather, but I just thought I'd put it on just so when I get in the house I can. Anyway, what's up, Kenyon? Glad to see you watching, man. Thank you guys. Oh, by the way, congratulations, brother. What's up, Tim? Tim Cole. Hey, what's up, nephew? Good to see you, man. Hey, I'm loving the post, man. I am loving the encouragement that you're sharing with our family. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Love. Keep up the good work. Tell your wife, Elena, we say hello. Niece, girl, you better sing. You better sing. I'm telling you, you better sing. Keep up the good work, man. But yeah, I'm gonna give you guys an opportunity to get on. But again, thank you to everyone. I can't say it enough. Thank you to everyone that wished us a happy anniversary. It is truly, truly encouraging when you got people behind you, pushing you to succeed, and not people behind you hoping that you fail. So we love you guys. We appreciate you guys. It gives us hope to continue on. It gives us hope in not just in our relationship, but in other relationships. It gives us hope that we're doing something that's encouraging to other people. So, that being said, we're going to talk a few minutes about how to fight. And you're probably thinking, well, why do you need to know how to fight? Well, in any relationship, you're going to have problems. You're going to have issues. You're going to have things that come up. And based on the maturity of the two individuals, you're going to have to learn how to fight. And you're going to have to learn how to fight fairly. It's a struggle starting off because you know what you know. And you fight how you fight. If you're a mean person in a relationship, when you get angry, your words are going to be mean. Your gestures are going to be mean. Your getting your point across is going to be with mean intentions. I promise you. And trust me, I know what I'm talking about. Again, we've had a lot of time to talk. My wife and I, we've had a lot of time to conversate, to get to know each other all over again. And I asked her a couple of things about me that she knows, and she said she know one of them is that I can be mean. Well, yeah, I can. But I mean, I'm just like anyone else. You know what you know. I'll put it that way. But in relationships, you've got to learn how to do things differently if your relationship is going to last. If you're going to have a successful relationship, you cannot go into it the way you saw somebody else do it. Because, again, you're not married to that other person. You're married to who you're married to. So they may respond differently. So why is it important for us to know how to fight? Well, I'll tell you 2 reasons why it's important for us to know how to fight. One is fighting fairly produces better results. Fighting fairly produces better results. What do I mean by that? Well, if you get 2 boxers in a ring, if one of them is fighting dirty, eventually, they're going to disqualify that individual. You just can't go in the ring and bite somebody's ear off. Okay, Mike Tyson, if you watch it. Well, I hope you're not watching. Forget I said that. But you just can't. If you're fighting fairly, it's going to produce better results. So the first thing you got to learn how to do is, how do I fight fairly? How do I fight fairly? These are things you have to learn in a relationship, because if you don't learn them in a relationship, you're going to ruin a lot of good relationships. Not just marriages, but friendships. You got a friend and you know that every time y'all get into a misunderstanding or a disagreement, they want to pull up something that they know about you, that they know will hurt you, something you shared with them in confidence that you don't want no one else to know, but you're trusting that they're going to be that covering for you. When you get in confrontation with that particular friend, you don't want them always digging it up. Well, you used to pee in the bed. I didn't tell you that for you to put it on Facebook. I didn't tell you that for you to try to make me feel bad so you can get your point across. So you're not fighting fairly. When you're not fighting fairly, what you're doing is you're using close, intimate information to hurt. You're using close, intimate information to intentionally hurt that person. So you've got to learn how to fight fairly. And fighting fairly produces better results. So how do I fight fair? One, you've got to go into the argument or the disagreement. You got to go into it with acknowledging your part. That's the first thing you got to do. You got to come into this disagreement. You got to come into this argument, or you got to come into this misunderstanding, acknowledging your part. Because it's not always the other person. I can guarantee you it's not always the other person. The other person may be at fault, but it's not always their fault at that time. So one of the best ways to learn how to fight fairly is you've got to go into the situation acknowledging your part. You've got to go into it knowing that you had a part to play, and the reason we're in this disagreement right now is because either I said something wrong, I said it the wrong way, or I said it at the wrong time, or I said it with the wrong tone. You cannot go into a disagreement thinking, well, the reason I'm mad is because of you. No. The reason you're angry may be because of the situation, but anger is a choice. I mean, that emotion belongs to you. And here comes that blackjack, and he's close to this phone, and we about to get to fighting if he don't get out the way. That's why I'm looking around, because I seen him just come in here. But anyway, so no sooner as I start talking about how to do it right, here comes a yellow jacket. We're going to fight all right. But you've got to go into it acknowledging your part. You've got to go into it humbly, recognizing that it takes two to tango. Both of y'all got a part here. Both of y'all got an issue with the issue. And that's the other thing. You've got to understand that the issue is the issue, not the person. You've got to realize that the issue is the issue, not the person. So if finances, if that's the issue, that's the disagreement. Finances. Not how much you spend or how much I save or how much. No. No. The issue is the enemy trying to get you divided and distracted on who's doing the most or the least with the finances. So he's going to try to put the attention on one or the other. Well, maybe if you didn't do this, I wouldn't do this. If you didn't do this, I wouldn't. But the issue is finance. So let's do this. Let's break it down into 3 bite-sized sections. We'll talk about finances, and we'll talk about communication, and then we'll talk about another issue, blended families or how to raise children. So, finances. The issue is finances. It's not about who's doing the most or who's doing the least with the finances. The issue is, how are we going to come into an agreement on what we need to do financially? That's the issue. So if a person goes out and spends a particular amount of money that you didn't have allocated, if a person goes out and then spends behind your back, if a person goes out and spends without telling you, those are issues, underlining issues. But the bottom line is, it's about the finances. So how do you fight fairly concerning finances? You bring your solution to this issue. Don't bring more problems to it. Bring the solution. This is what I'm willing to do. Again, you're acknowledging your part. This is what I'm willing to do concerning our finances. This is what I'm willing to do when it comes to spending. Or this is what I'm willing to do when it comes to not communicating with you before I do something. I know, man, growing up, it was we had this thing where we were taught, you don't never tell your wife how much you make it. You don't never let nobody know how much you make it. You don't let the right hand know what the left hand doing. Dude, that's gonna cause a lot of issues when you don't ever let the person you're in relationship know what you're doing financially. Now, understand this. If you can get to a point where both of you trust each other's judgment and you trust each other when it comes to financial situations and spending money, when you get to that point, thank God you can get to that point where you're not watching over each other's shoulder to see who's doing what, when, where, and how. But it takes time getting there. But before you get there, I guarantee you, we've had a lot of fights concerning finances. Why? Because we want to know who's going to control the budget. Who's going to say when we can spend and what we can spend. But listen, grown folks, when they make their money, they want to spend their money. You can't tell a grown person how to spend their money, especially if they've made it. You can't tell me how to spend it. So yeah, we've had these kind of conversations. No, you can't tell me how to spend my money. You lost your mind. And going into that situation, going into that conversation, going into it with your gloves already up. You're in your fighting stance already. All right, I know she gonna try to tell me I need to talk to her before I spend some money. Shoot, she out of her mind. You already going in the wrong way. But when you go in with the attitude, you know what? we probably do need to sit down and talk about how we spend money. So what I'm gonna need to do is I'm gonna look at me first. I'm gonna see what I do. I'm gonna see how I spend. I'm gonna see when I purchase something and don't tell them and how that affects them. So I'm gonna go in with me on my mind, not them. This is how you fight fairly. This is how you learn how to fight concerning finances. I'm going to go in with me on my mind. How do I spend? How do I budget? And then when I come to that individual, when I come to that person, when I come to my wife, when I come to my spouse, when I come to them, I'm coming to them with, okay, I'm going to put me on the table. Let's look at me. Because the Bible says, judge yourself. Judge yourself first. All right, baby, here's what I do. When I get, this is just an example. When I get mad or when I get frustrated or when I get irritated and I want something, I don't always have time to call you and say, I want to pick this up. So I end up spending, what I feel like I can because I don't feel like, it would be an issue. So that's the reason why I spend like I do because, I don't feel like I have to be accountable to you. I don't feel like I need to share that with you. I'm still talking about me now. And so when we get into these disagreements, it feels as if you're getting on me like a child because I'm spending my money. And see, that offends me, and it fractures my ego because I'm a grown man. So I need for you to help me help you when it comes to us talking about finances. What can I do differently? And see, that diffuses the situation when you come to him and ask, okay, can you give me your opinion? Can you let me know? Hey, Miss Lois, Miss Washington, it's good to see you, man. I hadn't seen you since Greece, but it's good to see you. We had a wonderful time too. I love that trip. But how do you come to somebody with a humble, contrite spirit when it comes to fighting about finances? Because again, I want to point the finger. I want to say, well, I don't say anything when you go out and buy shoes and stuff on sale. No, you that's not fighting fairly. Fighting fairly is I'm going to take my part and I'm going to lay my part out, and we're going to dissect my part in this conversation. We're going to dissect what I do. So when that other person comes, the other person can come with their part. So when you're bringing these two parts together, you can kind of try to make them fit like a jigsaw puzzle, because everybody has a part to play when it comes to financial situation. Everybody has a part to play when it comes to financial situation. And some of the biggest issues that couples get into when it comes to finances is spending money not on each other, but spending money on the kids and giving grandmama them and Mookie them and cousin them money under the table without telling it one or the other. That is a big misunderstanding waiting to happen. Why? Because again, the issue is finances. How do you fight fairly when it comes to finances? Well, you've got to come clean. When somebody asks you, did you give so-and-so, $25 and for gas and you didn't tell me? Well, I just had a couple of, well, no, now I'm thinking you're being deceptive. Now I'm going to try to, hold back for myself now, because I don't think you're going to be honest about our financial situation. So I need to protect me. So I'm going to break me a little something off and tell you I made less than I did. That's not going to sustain a successful relationship. Successful relationships know how to talk about finances. Successful relationships know how to trust one another even when they make a mistake financially. Successful relationships know how to say, you know what, I think we're going to bounce back. I think we're going to bounce back from this. But here's what we need to do. We need to talk about it. So fighting fairly when it comes to finances, you honestly sit down, bring your part, what you do or don't do with finances, bring that to the table and let people know. Let the person you're in a relationship know. And that's why it's important. Before you get married, you need to sit down and figure out who can't add. Because, listen, that old saying that the man handle the money because he's this and he. Look, if your man can't add, your man don't need to be handling the money. You either need to get an accountant or send him back to math or arithmetic school. But just because he's a man don't mean he know how to handle money. You need to know how to count to handle money. If you can't count, you can't count my money. Okay. And you don't need a unstable female who emotionally shop all the time. You don't need that individual handling your money. But what you need is a team, especially when you start getting lots of money. You need a team effort to figure out how to deal with money. And if you don't have a team effort, you got one pulling money out of savings and one putting money in savings, y'all gonna have an issue. So learn how to talk about money. Learn how to fight fair when it comes to finances. Learn how to communicate fairly when it comes to finances. Be open, be honest. If you cannot add, if you cannot subtract, if you can't do all those things and your spouse can, give them the checkbook. Give it to them. You up in Walmart, give them $3.99 plus minus 7%. Just give them $4 and let the penny go. Cause we ain't got time to be sitting up here all day. All these folks, they ain't 6 feet away. Let's just give them $4 so we can get out of here. No. Learn how to communicate honestly when it comes to finances. Don't bring up the past when you're trying to get to your future. Now, let me qualify that and clarify that. It is good to talk about things that you've done in the past and how you made the mistakes in the past. As a couple, as a group, as a team, it's good to talk about them so you won't make those mistakes again. But when you get into a fight or an argument about it, don't bring that up, is what I'm saying. So yeah, you can sit down and talk about, hey, we in the past we used to do this and this, but going forward, in order for us to reach our future, we need to do this. But don't, when you get into the fight, you spent $20 last week, didn't tell me. Well, we're not gonna bring those up because we're still learning how to fight. So that's money. Again, I'm going to leave a few minutes for those who are watching. If you want to ask questions, you can. I'm going to leave a few minutes for that. So you can send my wife some questions. I think she's in the house. Again, she'll probably get it on Messenger. And you can send her the message and she'll send it to me. And I'll be glad to kind of answer some of the questions that you may have. But we've been through this. Again, 34 years of anniversary was yesterday. We had a wonderful time, but we didn't get there overnight. And so we had some financial issues. We had some financial fights where neither one of us fought fairly. But as we got older and more mature in realizing that we're both trying to head in the same direction, we learn how to talk to each other. All right, now let's talk about communication. I know that's one of the next biggest issues when it comes to fighting. You fight because, in the area of communication, you fight because you're saying, in most cases, you're saying the same thing, but you're not understanding what the other is saying. For instance, we've discovered in the past that a lot of times when we're discussing something or we're communicating about something or we're fighting about what's being said, we're basically saying the same thing. We're just saying it a different way. And because we're in there fighting, we're not even listening to what the other person is saying. So if I say the dress was light blue and it was short, and you turn around and say it was a short dress that was light blue, well, we just said the same thing. Well, no, you said it was light blue and short. Yeah, and you said it was short and light blue. But no, I said light blue first. Well, you should have said short first because I said short first. And then now you into a disagreement over whether the dress was light blue and short or short and light blue. You're saying the same thing. When you're fighting, when it comes to communication, the best thing you can do is, first of all, listen. I know so many times when we've gotten into misunderstanding and disagreements where our conversation was concerned, when we got into those misunderstanding and disagreements, it was because one or the other person wasn't listening. We were not listening. Especially if you come to me wrong, I don't want to hear what you got to say. That's just number one. So I'm looking at you, but I sure ain't listening to you. I'm watching your mouth move, but my mind is, remember that old song? Your body's here with me, but your mind is on the other side of town. That, in disagreements and fights and misunderstanding when it comes to communication, your body may be there, but your mind is on a whole nother thing. And one of the biggest mistakes that couples make when they're fighting in the area of communication is they can't wait till the other one stop so they can pow, jab, pow, counter, pow, you said, pow, you said, remember you did, you did, you're not listening. You're getting your posture together. You getting your facial expression together. You getting your head movement together. So as soon as they stop, I'm finna give them a piece of my mind, and I'm gonna tell them exactly what. And in his mind, he can see you getting ready for it, because the stuff that he or she is saying. I know you're not listening. You just got the response in the back of your mind, and just can't wait until so you can. You take that. What about this? What about that? Well, how do you fight fairly when it comes to communication? Listen. Listen, listen, listen. Sometimes we would get into misunderstandings, and we would have to just pause, take a break, and say, you know what? We're not going to finish this. Let's put this on the shelf and deal with it later. It's just like the boxing match, the example that I gave earlier. When two boxers go into the ring, their intentions is to knock each other out. But they have rules that they have to abide by. And they have corner men that'll tell them when to punch, when not to punch, bob, weave, that their job is to hurt each other. But they only do it for 3 minutes a round. They don't go in and just let them fight for an hour. No, they give them time out. You go to your neutral corners. Go somewhere and sit down and just listen, not just to what you said, but listen to the Holy Spirit. And say, what was my part? Again, it goes back to, I bring my part to this conversation. I bring my part to this fight. And you listen to the Holy Spirit, and the Holy Spirit tell you, okay, well, maybe you shouldn't have said it this way. Or maybe you shouldn't have done it that way. Or just maybe, what they were saying is valid and it just hurts right now. Or what they were saying is something you needed to hear, but you just didn't want to receive it because of how you feel it. It's all about, communication is all about timing. When you say, what you say, how you say. When I say it, what I say, and how I say it. Because talking to me about finances, arguing about the finances, that's not when we don't have any, that's really not the time for you to try to argue with me about them. We know we ain't got them. So let's not fuss over that. When we have it, the bank account is full, the savings account is full, your retirement is full, your loan, everything is full, everything is good. That's the time to sit down and talk about the finances. Fussing with me about the kids is not when I come through the door from work and the kids all over. That ain't the time to start fussing with me about, how you don't call when I come to work. That ain't the time. That is not the time. It is not the time. You have to. That's right, Greta. If you don't sign, hey, it's in us. It's in us. But it's in us. Thank God for it. But you've got to learn how to listen. Fighting fairly when it comes to communication is listening. Why? Because I want to honestly hear what the issue is. Because as a team, I want to resolve the issue. Listening to resolve instead of listening to fight more. Now I want to listen to resolve this because I'm tired of fighting about it. Because all I want to do is I want to move to the next level of this relationship, and we can't go any further past the point of us not listening to each other. Because if we driving somewhere and you trying to tell me the direction and I'm listening to everything else other than the direction, we're going to get lost. It's the same thing in a relationship. If our communication is going one way, I ain't got time to try to argue with you, and you got the roadmap. You got the directions. You got the place that we're trying to go. I don't have time. I need to listen because we're trying to get somewhere together. We're not trying to get there and you get there and I get there a half an hour later. No, we're trying to get there together. So listening. How do you fight fair in the area of communication? Listening. Listen. And I was going to get into the third thing, where it pertains to intimacy. Sex, money, communication. Those are three of the biggest issues that arise in relationships. You're either not saying enough, not making enough, or not getting enough. Any one of those out of balance will cause conflict in your relationship. And you will fight unfairly to get your point across. So let's learn how to fight when it comes to being intimate with one another. Let's learn how to talk about the area of intimacy without it becoming a fight. Because we're both trying to get somewhere. The ultimate goal is to get a release from the frustration of the day, the children, the job, the stress, the whatever. Our ultimate goal is to make sure that you're happy and I'm happy in the area of sexual communication. So the best way to fight fairly in the area of sexual communication is to make sure that the person you're with gets what they need. I'm going to leave it right there, and I'm going to give you an opportunity to ask questions if you would like to. It's probably going to be about 3 minutes. I don't have a watch on, but it's probably going to be about 3 minutes. And if you have no questions, send me a thumbs down. If you have some questions, send me a thumb up so I can at least know, somebody has a question. But if you don't have a question, I appreciate you listening for the time that you did. Again, my wife and I thank you for celebrating our anniversary with us. We thank you for all the shout outs to all the happy anniversaries. Again, it means so much to us that we have people out there, not just family. Man, I'm telling you, family is so important. It means so much when your family's pulling for you, when your family's behind you, when your family is encouraging you. That means a lot. But also when you got your social media family, you got people that you don't know from different states that's saying congratulations, hang in there, and 34 more, and so on and so forth. You got people pulling for you to succeed. That means a lot. And so all of you guys' well wishes meant so much to us, and it continues to mean a whole lot to us. And what I'm going to be doing is I am going to be moving again, because I see that blackjack. But anyway, I am going to be coming on live periodically just to have discussions about relationships. Again, because we need to know how to fight fairly. We need to know how not to fight dirty. And I don't think I covered that, but just listen to this one nugget. You fight dirty when you bring up things unexpectedly. That's a dirty fight. It's like a sucker punch. Why? Because you didn't prepare me for this conversation. One of the ways you can learn how to fight fairly is prepare me that we're getting ready to go into misunderstanding or confrontation. Because so many times, and women, unfortunately, you guys are good at this. So many times we'll think everything is fine, but out of nowhere comes, I need to talk to you. Huh? For what? I'm sitting there watching the game. My team is up by 2. What's up? What you need to talk to me about? What? Can you just turn it off and give me your attention? Wait, hold on now. Hold on. What is this about? And it may be something that happened, 2-3 days ago. But no. When you don't fight fairly, you bring up things that we have no idea what it's about. That's why when you ask us question, you know what this is about? It could have happened, a couple hours ago. Hey, warn me when we're getting ready to go into this misunderstanding, because it gives me an opportunity to prepare to hear. But when you just come out and sucker punch me out of the blue after church or after coming from the grocery store tomorrow, no, warn me. Give me an opportunity to get myself together, to get myself in a place where I can listen attentively and listen effectively and hear your heart. Because the Bible says it's better for a man to live in somewhere than in the house with a nagging woman. You know, I'm jacking that scripture up, but it don't like nagging men or women. But fighting unfairly when you bring up things just out of the blue. It's like a sucker punch. It's like we didn't talk about this 3 years ago. We're going to talk about this right now. But at least warn me. We're going 3 years back, not yesterday. And I'll come on tomorrow and talk about how not to let the past determine your future when it comes to communication. Don't let the past determine your future when it comes to communication. Don't go into the conversation thinking, oh, I already know what they're going to say. I already know what they're going to say. They always say this. I already know he going to be like this. I already know she going to be like this. Don't go into it with predetermined ideas of how this is going to turn out. Because when you do go into it with a predetermined notion of how it's going to turn out, guess what? You're going to have exactly what you say. So trust the person you're with. Learn how to communicate. Learn how to listen. And learn how to bring your part of the issue to the table. Not their part, your part. And in doing that, you can have a successful misunderstanding without somebody being tossed out of a window. That's that on that end. You guys don't have any questions? I'm gonna drink this water and say, hey, I love you. Thank you, Greta. Thank you, Tim. All of you, thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. Again, thank you for the anniversary shout outs. Love you. Appreciate you guys. Dad and Amelia saying so long from the backyard.